Well, today we learned a couple of interesting things about the delay. I mean, it wasn't really anything that we learned, you watching this video. We knew it was the animation system. EA today admitted that the animation system was mainly the culprit for the delay we've been experiencing in the games the last few years. Well, I shouldn't say a few years. I should say about a decade now. But there are a couple of interesting tidbits to talk about with that. Some people were not happy about certain things relating to what they said because it kind of was confusing, but we'll get into that. We've got some more transfer SBCs to go and look at too. Some fan favorite SBCs we've been looking forward to. If you guys would like to buy coins, you can go to MMOXP.com. There will be a link in the description down below. They are the cheapest and the safest option. You can use my code JFC at checkout for an 8% discount. Have just been leaked, but thank you guys all for joining and being here in August. You guys are the real MVPs. Messi, I packed, by the way, and I brought this up because I already know I'm not really gonna like him as much as I could because he does not have the base first touch playstyle. I cannot wait till next year if this actually is true. Keep in mind, because it's not out of the realm of possibility that this actually is not really fixed, but playstyles are not supposed to mean as much next year. That way we can actually use a first touch card, or a non-first touch card, I should say. And I say we, some people might not even have a problem with that, but I know I do myself. But yeah, let me know in the comments how many 99s you've packed, by the way. Have you packed, like, I think there's 40 out so far, so how many of those 40 or something like that, 40 something, have you packed? The coin balance is getting back up right now. You can see it there. I think for tomorrow's video we'll start to have some packs and picks to open again. You know, we're working it back up. We'll get there eventually. Also, guys, by the way, what in the world was this? This Caicedo, they dropped the Conference League version of him, not the futties version. Now, maybe their reasoning behind this is like, hey, you actually have more freedom to give him 2 playstyle pluses, like whatever 2 you want to. But other than that, guys, what are we doing here? I mean, this is the most like ridiculous shit that right now at the end, we're getting towards the end of August. There's like no time left and we're dropping the Conference League. Not even the best version of a card is pretty unacceptable. If it was earlier in the year, I'd probably rant more about that, but I don't care as much now. I'm happy to drop Leia Williamson. Cool card. Very good. I've heard people say even though she's 5'7", she's very good at DM. But what in the world is this? I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. Also, the Griezmann SBC thing, then they drop him as a crafting upgrade like 3 days later. What's that about? What are we really doing here? I don't know. Evos we talked about. Let's just honestly get on with like the leaks and news. So the very first thing we'll talk about here is this EA Direct tweet that came out today. There was a couple of people that were on this interview, or it was kind of like a post, I guess, not really an interview. But Sam Rivera and Dominic Bouchard, who I think are both on the gameplay team, came out and described what they were trying to do in more detail to help the responsiveness for next year's game, because that's like their biggest priority, right? And we'll play a clip from it, but the headline here, this year there is a lot of improvements we're doing to make sure the game is more responsive than ever. We knew that already, but they go into more detail. We know gameplay responsiveness has been a frustration and we are working on it. Here directly from our gameplay dev. So okay, we'll play this first clip here and then we'll discuss it together after.
The next one also is that we can confirm that most of the issues that the community was reporting was experiencing are issues that can be experienced both in online play and offline play. Most of those, again, are related to how animations work in the game. And the second part is actually where we are doing many changes this year to make the experience better. So the first one is around animation coverage. So when we were analyzing cases that we found with the community, that we discovered with the community, in many of those cases, in the game basically didn't have the animations to perform what was requested. So for example, I'm fast incoming ball at me, and my request is a pass 180 degrees. It's a long pass, so sometimes that's very difficult to perform in real life, and then that's also going to be difficult for us to find an animation that can perform that action in the game. So in some cases the game decides to just stop the ball and then make the pass, creating a little bit of a delay in that action. But that is just part of basically part of football, part of how the animation system works. But this year we are adding many more animations to make sure there's more coverage and the players can perform more actions that perhaps in the past would have taken a bit longer. The next area is around our animation system. And our animation system is arguably one of the most complex systems that we have in the game, because it has to select animations based on the context. Where is the ball? Where are the opponents? How the player is moving? what's the angle of the player, the speed of the player, do I need to stretch to get to the ball, or can I do an extra step based on the urgency of the play? And then sometimes in that system there's bugs, or there's things that need to be balanced differently. So even when you're trying to perform a similar action, like let's say dribble turns, sometimes animations are going to be slightly longer, slightly shorter based on context. If the ball is slightly further away from me, maybe the animation to touch the ball is slightly longer. And with that, sometimes you will come across animations that are different. So we are working to make sure we find that balance in between animation variability and consistency, and making sure the game is very responsive. And with that in mind is how we designed the new dribbling system, dynamic dribbling, making sure animations again are more consistent, are faster, but there's still variety in the game. And we designed multiple of our fundamentals with the objective in mind to be more responsive this year.
We also analyzed, the input processing system and found some areas for opportunities. So we're able to save, a whole frame of input on those situations, allowing first-time passes and shots to happen a lot more often in 26 than in 25. We've added a lot of telemetry in the past in terms of tracking the details on the inputs the players are experiencing. So the lifetime of an input from the moment you pressed it to when it goes up to the server, to when it comes back, to when we simulate with it, to when we render it. And that's something we've added a lot more data this year to try and kind of close some of those gaps and get more information from the users.
So a couple things. The first thing, obviously, we got admitted to us once again that it's online and offline, right? The literal guys who are the directors of the gameplay are telling us that it's also offline, not just online. So everyone who was saying before that it was all in your head, go fuck yourself. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I saw like 1 or 2 comments every couple months saying like, I don't even think delay exists, it's all in your head. Most of us know. It's no point in dunking on the guys who didn't know, but always nice to get that confirmed for us. And what he describes really in this is that the animation system could have been improved, is kind of what he's trying to say there, in a more PR way. But he did say in there that like the delay does exist. Like he literally said in this, the delay exists and we're trying to figure out how to fix it. So one of the first times I think EA's ever like truly admitted to like, yes, it's delayed more than we want it to be, because that's the most you'll get them to say. In previous times, they'd always kind of avoid it and say, we're working to make the gameplay more responsive. They wouldn't straight up admit that there's like a delay aspect to the game. And here they kind of did that in this 15-minute video. If you want to go watch that, the whole thing, you guys, obviously, I recommend it. But in layman's terms, the animation system was the problem, they think. So that makes sense. It makes sense as to why, how the physics worked in the game to try and have the animations be more practical and adhere to the physics in the game. It's kind of how it should be to a certain extent, but sometimes I think they also said it just is better for the gameplay if some things were a little bit faster and they ignored a little bit of the realism. Obviously a fine line there, but that's the first thing they talked about. The second thing here is that they literally said we're trying to enhance like how fast the server can process things from point A to point B to point C, which that's a big important thing too. How much was that actually the factor here? And actually the EA servers were like not responsive enough. Maybe this all played a part into each other and why the delay was so bad, And of course, I'm sure that even though they're acknowledging this, I'm sure next year's game, is it going to be perfect? No. I mean, I don't know if it ever can be truly perfect, but I think it's good that we're at least hearing from them why they think this was happening. And obviously, you guys know that this doesn't mean jack shit if nothing's improved, right? Obviously, this sounds good on paper. It all makes for good advertising prior to a game's release, right? We know that this sounds great to us. It doesn't really mean much if nothing changes. Now, if stuff does change, then yes, it's obviously great. It's great for us that we finally have the literal people making the gameplay admit there's a problem. That's step one. You got to admit that the problem exists. Now, I did see a comment down here that did kind of make sense and was a comment that I was seeing a lot kind of in the replies to this. And it's Bilbo Baggins. What I took from this video was this. Number one, animations are to blame for the input delay issues. And two, we added more animations to fix the input delay issues. And that is kind of true, right? How can you have it both ways here? I actually do think that these two can correlate to each other. And the reason that they actually can is that animations can be to blame for the input delay issues. Like, say that really is the problem, is the animations. They might have needed to add more animations, right? Now, that obviously could compound on the problem. Like, that's not out of the realm of possibility. But the way they described this here was like they added more animations to have the player touch the ball and have more close control, right? Where's that clip up here? Right here, right? They're adding more dribbling animations to help you keep more close control of the ball. Now, whether that's actually going to be the correct solution in the long term here to add more animations instead of basically starting the game from the ground up in a better maybe physics engine, right? That's a whole nother debate, but you can kind of try and fix number one with number two. Maybe that's not the best way to do it, but I think you can do that. And once again, we're dealing with EA, you know, snake oil salesman, Groundhog Day type shit right here, right? But at the same time, we have to also, I mean, this is what I have to check myself on a lot. And I'm just speaking from my experience. Your experience might be completely different, but I have to check myself sometimes when I say, my first thought here is like, hey, I just don't believe you. Like, I genuinely just don't believe this, but I can't in one hand wish for them to try and make things better. Then if they were to actually make a concerted effort to make it better, I can't hate on that then and say, no, I don't believe you now. So I have to try and balance the two of those things where it's like, okay, I'm happy about this, but I also just like, we've had 10 years of the delay. Can you fix it? I mean, you're not going to fix it here. I know that. I'm sure you guys know that too, but at least progress helps. Admitting the problem is good. They admit the problem in this video. So a lot to go into this. You know, what do you guys think? Obviously curious to hear your comments on this stuff, but this is one of the most pertinent issues with the entire game that if they can fix will help everything out. The menu content, it helps out. When you can fix and make the gameplay better, will it happen at all? We have to wait and see. You know, we just have to wait and see. But okay, I think we got 4 new transfer SBCs leaked. We've got Ekatike coming out as an SBC with the official stats here as well, by the way. Rapid, low-driven, finesse, press-proven, aerial as well. This is going to be a ridiculous card right here. This is going to be a nonsense card. Yesterday, if you guys missed it, we had Trent leaked as well. So Trent is coming out probably sometime this next week. Now we have Ekatike as well, and he looks ridiculous. I know not 99 again, which I did see some comments about, like, doesn't matter if the card is good. It is true. If the card's like 99s, it's 99, 98, 98. Does it really matter if it's 98? Probably not. But yeah, Ekatike here coming out probably next week. Next up here is Jonathan David, SBC or an objective. 98 David, which I know, obviously as a Juve fan, this is tough to keep the pants on for this one. But rapid, low-driven, finesse, technical, press-proven, sure, insane card there. Every card's going to be insane at this point in the game. But that pink card with the pink stripes, yeah, like I said, tough to keep the pants on for this one. Moving up here, Nani Madueke as well, SBC or objective, 98 rated, only 4 playstyle pluses, so probably an objective if I had to guess. And unfortunately, more like 3 in the big month of August because of Trivella Plus. But if you're an Arsenal fan, you probably still are happy to see this card on the way. And then our last one, I think it's our last one, right? Our last one, I want to say. Yes, our last one here is Zubamendi. Official stats as well. Anticipate, intercept, incisive, and a technical plus. Cool combination there on Zubamendi with a pretty cool card. But yeah, I kind of wish, like I said yesterday, these weren't futties cards. I'm kind of tired of futties cards. I know it's like a petty thing to complain about. Are you guys tired of them too? I kind of wish they were a different card design, these new transfer cards. Also as well, if you're an Arsenal fan, Zubamendi and Gyökeres made their debuts, right? You know, they weren't very great in their debuts. You know, Gyökeres was getting memed all over the place, and Zubamendi was a little bit of a non-factor, but to me, it's one game, and I'm like, I couldn't believe the overreaction I was seeing on Twitter over one game. But that's how it goes on football Twitter, right? Everyone's here to overreact. It's kind of like the beauty of it. But yeah, if you're an Arsenal fan, I wouldn't be worried about Zubamendi and Gyökeres. You didn't buy Gyökeres for his technical abilities. You bought him to score goals. Okay, yeah, he had a couple meme touches in there, but like Gyökeres' first touch was never great, okay? If Arsenal buy Gyökeres to be an F2 freestyler, they're going to be in big trouble. But okay, also I found this Reddit post randomly. Joe from Google, you know, a salute to Joe, can't find formation. I see this comment on like my comments on Reddit, on Twitter all the time. Like every opponent I'm playing against has the most ridiculous press, insane tackling, insane pass completion. All my players are covered. Their players are faster. Every aerial ball is perfect. You know, what formation is that? How do I play like they do? And this goes for every FIFA that will ever exist, not just the end of this year. This goes for next year too. When you're feeling like this, odds are you're probably, for one, not in a formation that you're comfortable with. My guess is that there's the first part. Second part, you're not playing well. That's a big part of this too. Odds are you can't feel like all this is happening if you're playing good FIFA. You're just probably not playing good FIFA. So not playing good FIFA, not playing a formation that you're probably comfortable with. And if you are playing a formation that you are comfortable with and this is still happening, then what I want you to do is go back and watch your gameplay. I guarantee you, if you go back and watch your gameplay, you will see a ton of mistakes you're making, and then it's going to start to make more sense as to what happened in that game. Then if you watch back your gameplay and you're still like, damn, I'm not really making too many mistakes here, and I'm like getting slaughtered and shit on, and you know that the guy maybe is just not that much better than you, then at that point, you might say, hey, I need to change formation. Then you have to reach like the 4th or 5th point of the checkpoints to then be like, okay, maybe I do need to change formation to whatever that guy's using, or just a different formation in general. Because oftentimes players will get in this cycle here and go like, I need to try out every formation in the game, and you end up not being used to a certain one, you play worse, it compounds on itself, the problem never ends, and you end up losing 7 games in a row. You don't want to end up doing that. Watch your games back. If you reach like step 3, then watch your game back. If then at that point you're like, damn, I was playing like dog shit. Okay, then you're playing like dog shit, so you can work on that. If you watch it back and go, okay, I actually was playing pretty okay, I think, and I'm still getting shit on, and I don't know if that guy's that much better than me. At that point, then you can say, okay, maybe I need to change formation up, and then give that like 5 games at least to change formations up, because you gotta get used to it when you change it. So a lot of things go into this, but usually when this is happening, it ends up being kind of a you problem, but there is a chance that it actually is not. And when you get to that step 3 or 4, you might have to change formations. Maybe your formation sucks dick. There's a chance that your formation sucks, okay? And that actually is why you are feeling this way, but it's less likely than probably you're just not playing the best today, right? Some days you're not on it. You're not playing very well. Or obviously delay, you know, there's underlying factors that go into not playing very well. Okay, let's read some of your comments now. And first of all, I was going to read Sully's comment, but Bull C6, I was watching in the background while playing Rivals and I hear my name, LOL. Yeah, hey, you never know. You leave a comment in the video, it might be read tomorrow, okay? You know, you just never know. I don't even know what ones I'm picking until about 5 minutes prior. But Sully here says, LOL, it's the use of glitch/broken. The formation is a standard football formation at 2 DMs, completely normal in football. Talking about the 4-2-1-3, right? People are saying it's broken or glitched or whatever when it's just like a really good balanced formation. A lot of the times, I think it's tricky because, yes, like, it is good in real life. A 2 DM formation oftentimes are what teams use nowadays. Of course, it's not like 2 holding DMs. You know, the DMs oftentimes in real life roam a lot more. They do more than a DM would in FIFA, because tactics are a lot more fluid in real life, a little more complex and intricate. But yeah, your comment is right that, like, it's a standard formation. 2 DMs is normal, and, like, usually teams want to use 2 DMs in football. Doesn't mean the formation is literally glitched or broken. I agree with that, but the problem is that center mids in this game, like base center mids, have pretty bad AI, apart from, I think I like Playmaker Plus and obviously Plus too. I should say Plus. At this point, no one has anything less than Plus. Playmaker is good. There's other ones that just are not very good, and that's the issue. Is like, if hypothetically all tactics worked how they're supposed to, then of course we'd organically develop other formations that were just good because they're either good in real life or because they are good for your playstyle, right? But what's happened this year a little bit is that the DMs have much better AI than the center mids do, and that's why you end up here. So technically speaking, it kind of is glitched or broken, but it's also not, because it's just a good formation. But the reason people say that is because the center mids don't have the same level of AI that CDMs do because of like it's EA's fault. So to be like kind of playing both sides here, I also see what you're saying. Like the formation is just good and balanced, so like of course it's going to be decent. What others are saying is that center mids in this game just are not coded very well. So then therefore this formation kind of is in a way like glitched because it plays better literally for no reason other than the AI is programmed better in this formation than others are, if that makes any sense. We got SAS645, looking forward to the streams, mate. Also looking forward to join the Discord. Are you going to do any second channel video for us to send our Evo teams? And I think I'm going to do that. I want to say in a couple of days, I'm going to ask you guys to send me Evos for the second channel. But what I think I might do actually is maybe make it a main channel vid. I'm deciding between kind of sticking to like all uploads be on the main channel, kind of like a variety of stuff on this channel, or keep this channel the exact same with no different uploads, and have a second channel be where we talk about a lot of gameplay stuff and upload gameplay and do other stuff too, Evo team reviews, etc. for next year, right? I don't really know. I just want to tell you guys one thing though. Like, I'm just so excited for what I feel like my capacity is for next year. Like, you guys have no idea compared to 4, 5, 6 months ago how much better I feel mentally than I did then. I don't know what happened to me. It didn't really make sense, honestly. I don't even know myself fully what happened. I just got in my own head too much. I was in a really just weird space. It wasn't even like it was like a dark space, because things in my life weren't like going badly. You know, they weren't at all. Like, I had a healthy family. I'm engaged. Like, things weren't going badly. And yet for some reason I was like stuck in my own head so bad. And compared to then, like right now, I feel so much better than I did back then. And I'm so looking forward to like just leaping the opportunity of streaming a lot and just taking this stuff so seriously that I feel like I wasn't able to do 6 months ago. So anyway, it's kind of a random tangent, but yes, I'm going to kind of decide what to do of what channel to upload it on, but I'm for sure going to be doing a ton more content for next year specifically. Like next year, you're going to probably have like double the content you had this year from me. But yeah, I've gotten a few comments about like, hey, final Evo video. I think I'm going to do that here in a couple days, so keep that in mind. And 10th Wonder does say here, both my center mids defend all the time. I've only been using box-to-box and deep-lying playmaker all year. Manual positioning and good reading of plays is important for my 4-3-3. And I actually, so my 4-3-3 myself, you're on the 4-3-3-2. It's the one with DM and 2 CMs. Is that the 4-3-3-2, I think? Yeah, I think so. I really had success with that formation as well. But the thing is, like, I don't remember how good you are, 10th Wonder. But I think what tends to happen sometimes is that you're probably a better defender than some people are, and you're manually compensating for some of the deficiencies of some center mids. I think for some people, it's harder to have the CMs be very defensive. And, you know, the pros even said this, like, this is kind of not a me opinion. This has been kind of how a lot of the pros have felt this year. Center mids have been a little underwhelming, like the AI wise, but keep in mind, the consensus can be wrong, right? It's important to know the consensus is probably usually right. The consensus can be wrong though. But okay, I think that's it for me. Thank you guys all for watching. Appreciate you all so much, and I love you all. So peace.